Okay, so I'm Hillary. First of all, before I run out of time, I want to thank my community for Lawrence and Gil, as well as my friend Michelle and my mom Leslie for all their support. For my Division 3, my question was, is pheromone communication affecting the choice in humans? I first heard about this topic kind of randomly in a documentary that came out from Discovery Channel called Science of Sex Appeal. And they were claiming that all across the world in nightclubs, there's a biochemical war going on. Men secrete androstenone from their armpits when they're sweating and dancing. And women respond to this when they're ovulating by secreting a copulin, which puts the men in heat. I thought this was kind of funny as a woman and a college student, but I also thought this was kind of interesting as a biologist and a geneticist. So, for whatever reason, I thought it was interesting enough to do a literature review on it. And my findings very quickly became that this is a very controversial and debated topic within the scientific community. I think we should start at first what pheromones are. Pheromones are chemical compounds that are secreted from an individual, a sender, and they elicit sexual, social, reproductive responses from a receiver of the same or similar species. We should start with the facts about pheromone transduction and the vomeronasal organ, or VNO, in rodents, and they're a great model because they smell much better than we do. There's the main olfactory epithelium, and there's also the VNO. And it's most widely believed that pheromones are detected and relayed to the amygdala by the VNO. However, through my research, I learned that once the animal is no longer sexually naive and virgin, the main olfactory system can learn these chemical cues. Like odor is very associated with memory. So the VNO is not necessary for pheromone detection after first copulation. That's an important thing to remember because in the studies involving human pheromones, or the studies trying to determine if human pheromones exist, probably none of the humans in their sample are going to be virgin. So here are the facts on non-primate species and the VNO or lack thereof. They've found some genes that are associated with pheromone detection and the vomeronasal organ, and when they knock out these receptor genes in various rodents, they found that this severely impairs sexual function. However, when doing comparative genome analyses with various primate species, they found that these genes are non-functional in overall primate species and also in humans. So the theory is that primates, around the time that they developed the opsin genes to see color vision, visual cues replaced olfactory cues when it came to being attracted to a mate. Now, here are the facts about the VNO in humans. There are a lot of different anatomical studies that have been done with human cadavers, which can conclude that about 30% of humans, the VNO structure can be located in the nasal septum. However, there's really no clear evidence that there are active nerve bundles there or functional receptor genes. So, where is all of this androstenone and human pheromone stuff coming from? It's coming from a group called Monty Block Research Team in Utah. And what they do is they use an electrovomerogram, and it's a probe, and they use it to expose the VNO region in humans, sample of human participants, to 15 to 25 picograms of a pheromone perfume. And this pheromone company, also important to remember that they fund a lot of this research. So, when they stick this probe into people's VNO regions, they found that men have a huge response, well, huge, here are the statistics, kind of small, but They found that men have a response to the female pheromone perfume and that men have vice versa. With these results, everybody has cited over and over and over in various mainstream news articles that this is clear evidence that humans have a functional vomeronasal organ and that they detect pheromones in a similar way that rodents do, even though we are primates. So what is in these pheromone perfumes? This is from Erox's company, the corporation that funds a lot of these studies, from Monty Block. And they have several forms of androstenone, which is a steroid that is present in armpit sweat, but created from the bacteria that are eating off of what's in your armpits. And this is the result. Not only have they marketed pheromone perfumes, but it's caused kind of a snowball effect where lots of other companies want to cash in on the pheromone cow. You have lots of expensive perfumes and people are buying them because they think that they will have a harder sex life or be able to attract a mate. Basically feeding off of lonely people's insecurities, which is really sad. So, I'm going to save the clip to see if we have time. But in conclusion, back to real science, Keller and Company in 2007 did a really good study with a human male factory receptor gene OR7B4 and found that 1 in 5 Caucasians can detect androstenone. However, after 6 weeks, the participants that couldn't, over the course of the study, could. So it's a learned, it can be learned, and as Wayne Miller would say, not much of a pheromone. Questions? All right, I'll throw the clip. This is from a doctor, apparently.
Selling something?
Yes, he says that the better the pheromone perfume, the more expensive. Oh, wait. Is there sound on this thing?
Well, that's it.
Is it up?
There you go.
Is it on for the computer?
Do we need some?
Technical difficulties.
Necessarily mean it's going to be effective. If you're looking for results, it's important to
Thanks. All right, now that everybody's awake, thank you. Okay, ready for this?
Well, just because a cologne or perfume has pheromones doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be effective. If you're looking for results, it's important to find a product with the highest concentration. Synthetic human pheromones are extremely expensive to manufacture, so if the product is cheap, you can normally assume that it may not necessarily be effective.
There's even more, but I promise you it's not going to sell you anything. Okay.
Question?
Question. This might get awkward really quickly.